Hey guys, what's up? Barcelona 5, Sevilla 1 was the final score today in Barcelona's game against Sevilla. Really a fantastic game for Barca. It was a game where Barca came in clearly with an attitude of wanting to score from the very first minute. They were not waiting around to kind of save energy and see what happens. One of the concerns that I had before the game is that maybe the team would be very focused on the Bayern and Madrid games we got coming up, and that maybe they wouldn't go and put all the effort required into this game, and it was the opposite. Right, Barca came in, and from the very first minute, they clearly showed an attitude of wanting to score as many goals as possible and not give the other team any chance to win. Right, so it was just a magnificent performance, great intensity from the very first minute. In terms of the starting lineup, Eric Garcia was going to start at the pivot, but apparently he got injured just before the game. So there were some last minute changes to the lineup, but luckily it didn't have a negative impact. But it led to Ansu Fati actually starting off. So the starting lineup today was at goalkeeper Iñaki Peña instead of Seti, who maybe in flick two isn't ready to start. So we had Iñaki Peña at goalkeeper. On defense, we had Balde, Inigo Martinez, Kubarsi, and Kunde, which has been the starting defensive line for all of the season so far. In midfield, we played with Casado and Pedri in the base, and Rafinha actually played in the number 10 position. Amazing game by Rafinha. I'll dive into that later. And in attack, we had Fati on the left, Lewandowski as the striker, and Lamine Yamal in the right wing. I want to start with Rafinha. He's shown from the beginning of the season that, well, since he arrived at Barca, that he's a player that just gives everything. It doesn't matter if he plays on the right, on the left, in the middle as an attacking midfielder. He just gives everything he's got every moment of the game. And as a Barca fan, you gotta love to see that. I mean, just he's very versatile. Always gives it his all. And even though he scored today, I thought he had a very good game, just like almost every game he's had. The game, as I mentioned, just started with Barca at it being dominant. Sevilla couldn't hold the ball for more than a couple of seconds. Barca was very quick to get the ball back almost immediately every time. Sevilla was barely even touching the ball until roughly the ninth minute or so, I think, was when Sevilla had a pretty decent, sort of a chance that they couldn't score. But the minutes passed by. Sevilla was just in a low block defensively. Sevilla really was not taking a lot of risks. They just parked the bus, which was maybe a bit of a surprise to some. Sevilla's coach Garcia Pinta is a former Barca youth squad coach, so some might have thought that he would have more of a mindset of trying to dominate, but that's not at all what they did. They just dropped deep, and around the 21st minute, I think it was, there was a penalty for Robert Lewandowski, which he was able to convert. I thought it was a clear foul on Rafinha, so I thought it was the right call by the referee there giving the penalty. He scored that. A few minutes later, Pedri scores from outside the box in a very good team play where I think it was Lamine Yamal Ansu Fati to Lamine passes it to Koundé, who just lets it go for Pedri, who takes a long distance shot, puts it in the corner, and puts the 2-0 on the board. And in the 30th minute, we had the 3-0 deflecting a shot from Rafinha. And from there on, it was over. I mean, when you've got 3-0 in the first half, there really isn't much that the other team is going to do. Not that there haven't been exceptions, but Sevilla clearly just had nothing going on for them. And Sevilla was just out of the game. They never looked like they had a chance at all. One thing I noticed was that Lamine Yamal is starting to show a lot of promise with the outside of his foot. In the 46th minute, I think right after a corner, he took a shot from outside the box with the outside of his foot and put it almost right there in the corner, but it was saved by the goalkeeper. And in the 48th minute, just a couple minutes later, did an assist with the outside of his foot again, almost identical to the one he had against Villarreal a few weeks ago. That one, however, even though Rafinha did score the shot, was ruled offside, unfortunately for our interests. But nevertheless, that was not going to be the last goal of the game. Later, Sevilla scored, and then when we had subs in, Pablo Torre came in. Pablo Torre actually getting a couple goals, but the greatest news for Barca supporters is he's back. Gavi is back. He finally played a few minutes after having been injured for almost a full year, and it is really exciting as a Barca supporter to have Gavi back and available. I mean, there's just no one who brings the energy that he brings. Him and Rafinha just have an extraordinary energy level that really takes the team to a different level. Of course, he just played a few minutes today, but hopefully in the next few months he'll be going back to normal form. We also saw Fermin play a bit. Um, who else did we have? Yeah, we had a lot of midfielders. Fermin came in. I think Gerard played a bit. Who else? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Can't remember all the subs. I'll have to check later. But overall, that's really the main thing, right? We just had a very dominant game, which I think it's good for the team's morale to go into the Bayern and Madrid game with a good amount of confidence. But they're going to be difficult games, so it's important that Barca's on top of their game these coming games because we got some important games. Um, the not so great thing to comment on would be Ansu Fati, in my opinion. Now he's just coming back. He's just getting kind of his first few minutes of the season. He hasn't played that much, but we're still really not seeing that much from Ansu Fati. It seems like everyone else in attack, Lamine, Lewandowski, Rafinha, were all doing very well, but Ansu Fati's just he's not the same player he was, and it's a bit concerning. I hope things change over the coming months, but I'm still not seeing anything of the player that we saw a few years ago. So that's something that I hope can change in the near future. Um, Another thing to comment on was the offside trap that has really been phenomenal this season with Inigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí uh, kind of running that offside trap. They've been taking a lot of risks, but being really effective. I mean, I lost count of the amount of goals that other teams have scored on us that have actually been ruled offside, thanks to the very good and timely execution of the trap from Inigo Martinez, Pau Barci, Kunde, and yeah, I think it was just all positives, all smiles for Barca today, and yeah, finishing the week on a good note before our game against Bayern on Wednesday. I'll see you guys then. Have a good one.